All of these suck. I'm going to tell you why. Let's start with the worst in the bunch. This 4K edition of Nope. Now, I love this movie. That's why I wanted to own it on 4K. But once I saw the cover, I almost didn't even pick it up. Not because there's anything wrong with the art or anything, but because of this humongous chunk of ugliness up here. If I were to ask you the question, what format is this movie in? I think you'd be able to tell me. In fact, I think you'd be able to tell me 5 different times. It says 4K Ultra HD up here. It says it again. It's the exact same thing twice in a row. Then it says it for a third time right here. Now, if you can't see why that's excessive, I can't really help you. But I think this is one of the most common and annoying problems with purchasing movies on physical media these days. They just shove so many unnecessary things in there, and it makes your entire collection look cheap. It makes it feel more like a product than a piece of art. It even feels the need to include this collector's edition line. Does anybody really care that this is the collector's edition? This is the edition that came out when the movie came out. There's no other 4K version you could buy when the movie initially came out. How is that a collector's edition? That just seems like an obvious marketing gimmick to try to get to sell more. Even if the movie isn't a so-called collector's edition, it still feels the need to put this ugly gray bar on the top of most 4Ks these days. I really don't understand why they felt the need to do that. Imagine if this ugly gray bar was removed, just entirely gone, and instead we had this cool cover just continue up all the way. Think of how much better that would look. This is just an ugly stain on an otherwise really good box art. This copy of Creed 3 really hammers my point home. Can you tell me what format this movie is in? It's in 4K Ultra HD, of course. It says so right there. It just doesn't say so 4 or 5 times. Do you think consumers are confused by that? It even says it on the side already. Thankfully, they just decided to get rid of the gray streak entirely and just let the box art speak for itself. This black casing is synonymous with 4K Ultra HD. Nobody who looks at this cover will be confused about what format it is. Like, is this really less confusing than this? Both the same format, but one feels the need to cut into the box art and the other doesn't. Which one do you think looks better? I don't think it's a competition. Maybe you're saying, this is too confusing. This isn't clear enough. This needs more information. Fine. Here are some movies that include the information on what format they're in, but they don't compromise the box art to do it. This is the second most common kind, where all they do is take away that gray bar, and I think it makes a world of a difference. It doesn't intrude in the art nearly as much. It makes it feel more like an intentional design choice, rather than just slapping the gray label on it. Like, imagine if this had that gray bar. Would that be any more clear? I don't think so. I think consumers are smart enough to figure it out. Then you have examples like this, where it's not subtle about it, but it does at least incorporate it into the box art style. It doesn't feel like they just slapped that on there like it does so many other times. I think this really works. The problem is that it takes effort, and most companies aren't willing to put in that effort. This is the other way I don't mind so much, and I've seen it around a little bit, where you can still clearly see it. It still clearly goes into the box art, but it's less obtrusive. It's more subtle, smaller, and I like that it's on the side, that it doesn't really get in the way of most of the box art. Physical media collectors like to collect physical media that looks good on a shelf. These banners do not help with that. More of this, less of this. Make sure to like and subscribe if you care about stupid stuff like this as much as I do.